Hello, my name is Delharty Manson. I'm so excited to share with you all today my research on the impact of small loitering munitions on weak regimes. In the middle of the Utah desert, the Department of Defense showcased a new weapon, the Switchblade 300. In the demonstration, the unmanned aerial vehicle launches out of a small tube, flies several miles to identify its preset target, and strikes a truck. But this drone did not fire a missile, it was the missile. And every step in the execution of the drone's mission was done independent of human intervention. These new drones are called small loitering munitions. At the time, news media reported that these new weapons could usher in a new era of ground warfare. 4 months after the Utah demonstration, the United States sent these lightweight weapons to Ukraine. This new era is right on our doorstep. We know that small loitering munitions can positively benefit states like Ukraine, but little attention has been given to the use of these inexpensive and advanced weapons by malign actors. The use of small loitering munitions so far has often led to an entrenchment and expansion of power for autocrats. Small loitering munitions are likely to continue to proliferate in and destabilize fragile states. However, there is an opportunity to reduce the spread of small loitering munitions to malign actors by the United States working with regional and multilateral organizations. Small loitering munitions are autonomous drones armed with a warhead that use electro-optical cameras and artificial intelligence to identify and strike targets. These drones can hover in the air from 15 to 45 minutes in waiting for their target and reach speeds of up to 120 miles per hour. A loitering munition can also fly and decide to engage autonomously without human control, although a pilot can still remotely call off a potential strike. All these capabilities come in a package that is no longer than a baseball bat and weighs less than 15 pounds. These weapons provide individual soldiers with cheap and lethal aerial power projection capabilities. A small loitering munition can be deployed as far as 25 miles away from the intended target, providing more than enough coverage for its user. These weapons are so small and fast that they often can fly past drone detection radars and other anti-drone systems. Furthermore, the price of small loitering munitions has decreased drastically. In 2009, one Israeli Harab drone, a large loitering munition, cost about $10 million. Today, the Switchblade costs only $6,000. These qualities make them extremely attractive to malign actors seeking to project power across large distances without the risk of face-to-face conflict. And as a relatively cheap weapon to produce, they are likely to proliferate quickly. Once within a fragile state, small loitering munitions can be abused by state and non-state actors to assert their political dominance. First off, these weapons will be highly beneficial for state regimes seeking to increase their power. For example, in Libya, Turkish small loitering munitions proved effective for the UN-backed government at cheaply repressing insurgent militia forces. In other circumstances, small loitering munitions can be used to substitute larger weapons used in conflicts, such as in Azerbaijan, where the president used large Israeli loitering munitions to expand its international power by taking the disputed region of Nagorno-Karabakh from Armenia. Soldiers are used to anticipating large missile strikes, but small loitering munitions enable an individual soldier to carry out damaging attacks without the same risk of detection. And in Iran, where the Israeli government is suspected of using an autonomous machine gun to assassinate a nuclear scientist, the operation took 8 months to smuggle in parts that weighed roughly 1 ton. But using small loitering munitions could have been quicker, and this could have been performed by just one soldier in this time. Yet small loitering munitions are not just beneficial to state actors. Small loitering munitions also present a threat to weak regimes from violent non-state actors that wish to attack and delegitimize the government. Drug cartels in Mexico are already weaponizing Chinese-made commercial drones to attack state forces. These makeshift small loitering munitions have been effective and successful in intimidating police officers and decreasing Mexican control over their own state territory. Combating the use of small loitering munitions is difficult. If the government is not complicit in using small loitering munitions, then the state usually lacks the capacity to defend against attacks. However, in each conflict where small loitering munitions appear, the actor that uses them has acquired the munition from another state. The trade of small loitering munitions is the opening needed to address their proliferation. I recommend targeting proliferation in 3 steps. First, classify small loitering munitions as a light weapon. Small loitering munitions use more sophisticated technology than other conventional light weapons like mortars. However, new conventional arms will always involve more advanced technology. Small loitering munitions are simply the latest evolution. Second, expand programs run by the Department of State's Office of Weapons Removal and Abatement to target the illicit spread of small loitering munitions. This office has already been successful in conventional weapons destruction programs held in vulnerable at-risk states. New programs for small loitering munitions can include border inspection and weapons destruction trainings. Finally, the United States can work with regional and multilateral organizations to include small loitering munitions in conventional arms agreements like the Wassenaar Arrangement, where the United States has proven effective before in expanding the list of recognized light weapons with Man-Portable Air Defense Systems, or MANPADS for short. MANPADS are meant to target military aircraft, but the United States saw the potential for terrorists to use this weapon on commercial airlines. Throughout the late 90s and early 2000s, the United States worked to include MANPADS in the Wassenaar Arrangement and succeeded. And other regional organizations quickly followed suit using the same language in the Wassenaar Arrangement. The United States can follow this example now with small loitering munitions. The United States should lead the world in shifting international norms regarding drones. Targeting small loitering munitions is just the first step. As artificial intelligence advances, conventional arms are only going to get smarter and pose increased risks to civilians and militaries alike. It is imperative that our international norms and laws keep up with these advancements to prevent these weapons from falling into the hands of malign actors. Thank you.